Welcome to China in Focus. I'm Tiffany Meyer. The world watched as unprecedented protests broke out in Cuba last summer against the island's communist regime. But soon those videos vanished from the internet. The calls for freedom silent. Cubans soon found their internet cut off. But was it just the Cuban government cracking down? Turns out many of the country's internet servers are controlled somewhere else. Behind Cuba's internet access are a slew of Chinese companies: Huawei, TP-Link, and ZTE. A 2017 report by the Open Observatory of Network Interference found traces of Chinese code in interfaces for Cuban Wi-Fi portals. For the Cuban government, the internet has never been free. Since 1996, when it was first regulated, access to the internet has been granted selectively. Since then, the rules have only gotten stricter. Even sales of internet modems and personal computers became restricted. That's according to a 2003 report from Reporters Without Borders entitled Internet Under Surveillance. Instead, only certain state employees are allowed to go online. And China seems to be backing Cuba in controlling what can or cannot be said or seen online. How does that kind of influence happen? One word: money. China is Cuba's second largest trading partner, the first being Venezuela. In 2020, Chinese exports to Cuba topped over $480 million. That's according to the United Nations Comtrade database on international trade. So why is China funneling so much money into Cuba? Let's look at a map. Cuba is a close neighbor to the southeast United States.
We don't want China to get close enough to have listening posts where they can do observations and things. So my understanding is that there's one in Cuba, and it's manned by Chinese troops.
China economic analyst Antonio Graceffo notes that China wants that access. But it seems China is eyeing more than just Cuba. On January 27th, the first female president in Honduras takes office.
Yes, well, Xiomara Castro, that is the president-elect for Honduras, told during her campaign that she was interested in shifting diplomatic relations from Taiwan to China, and this was especially related to her interest to finance ambitious infrastructure projects, and of course, the money is in Beijing.
Researcher at Impunity Observer Paz Gomez notes that as of now, Honduras is one of the few countries that recognizes Taiwan rather than Beijing. But aside from growing political fears over a potential switch to China, the U.S. has a much bigger fear. Just like Cuba, Honduras is close to the coastal U.S.
Now, Honduras, if they could put a listening post there, they could observe, how our ships are traveling, our patterns, figure out, because our Navy trains, of course, in the Caribbean, and they could find that out. Also, we're doing joint exercises with nations that we're friendly with, and so China would be able to observe those more easily.
But how exactly could China take advantage of that geography?
China will come and build a very highly visible infrastructure project. They will loan the host country the money to pay for the project. The host country will then use the money to pay Chinese companies to build the project. And now the host country is on the hook to China. They owe China money, they have to pay interest. And all the money has already come back to China through construction companies. And the projects that China builds are very generally, we call them mega projects now, and these are large infrastructure projects which are very visible.
That's under China's infrastructure outreach policy known as the Belt and Road Initiative.
While doing these infrastructure projects, China also provides credits because our Latin American countries do not have the liquidity to finance these projects at once. So this also ties the countries with China. And in the case that some of them default, what could happen is that China gain more control of the management of these projects.
With that control comes power and influence.